this one, this drug, lenacapavir, is a capsid inhibitor ng HIV. So, it binds with HIV-1 capsid protein, disrupting capsid assembly, nuclear import of viral DNA, and viral genome tagging. So this drug is actually being hailed as the closest thing that we have to an HIV vaccine. This drug was initially approved for multi-drug resistant HIV in December 2020. But only last year, June 18, 2025, so this drug was approved as the first and only injectable HIV prevention option, which offers 6 months protection. So, in this initially will require an oral loading phase, and then eventually, inject na lang siya every 6 months. So, when you see the word PrEP, ano ba yung PrEP? PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. So, pag pre-exposure, syempre, hindi siya positive. Ibig sabihin, ano ka pala, wala kang HIV, but you are taking the drug or receiving this drug, most likely because you or this patient, hindi pa siya patient actually, kasi wala siya sa, but this person is most likely engaging in activities that puts them at risk for HIV. So, men having sex with men, sex workers, with multiple partners. Minsan nga sa mga dating profiles, nilalagay na yan sa kanilang mga profile. They are on PrEP. Pag PrEP, yung meron tayo na PrEP ngayon available is oral. So, this, they take the medications as given free by the social hygiene clinics. Tapos, yun, parang they are quote-unquote protected. So, kaya ang iba parang there are some ethical issues, of course, with these things, which you can discuss on your own. Or yung iba para gusto na ngayon yung mga sa OT-fans, yung mga pinapanood sa mga video na mga nagko-collab, mga ganyan. So, and di ba kasi, pag nanonood ng mga ganyan, ayaw nila nung may barrier, ayaw nila nung may condom. So, kaya, di ba, sabi nila, naka-prep sila. Pag-iba naman for hire, pero prep. So yun. So you can discuss the ethics of medications in another venue. So, pero, ito yung mga issues outside of pharmacology. So, pero ito, this is the, pero of course, it does not remove the fact that it is a step towards eliminating HIV, or at least reducing transmission. Kasi there are also other countries, like for example in Africa, na, hindi naman lahat nakalahat, pero abuse of women is also common. So, rape, so wala protection sila. So, other multiple reasons. And just also, you may notice in WHO and CDC programs, parang laging magkasama yung TB at saka HIV. Kasi when patients have HIV, they can develop AIDS, tapos usually a lot of times, patients with the first clue to a patient na may HIV siya is meron siyang immunocompromised state. Kaya parang it's very rare, isang generally mas batang patient, presumably healthy, tapos bakit siya may TB pneumonia? So, nagkaroon ng ganong condition. So, usually pag gano'n, nagtatanong about sexual history. So, tinuro naman sa inyo, di ba, sa pagkuha ng history. So, these are some suspicions that you can ask. Yeah. So, reminder, always update yourselves with the latest international and local guidelines, both for pre and post-exposure. Yeah. Do you want to have a break or tuloy na lang? Short na lang naman. So next, going to the end, we'll have the miscellaneous antivirals. So influenza, hepatitis, and COVID. So, this table summarizes the miscellaneous antivirals. Amantadine is for influenza A. So sa influenza, ito lang naman. Tapos sa hepatitis, kaya sila yung interferon dito kasi ang usual na treatment for hepatitis is interferon-based. Interferons in themselves are not antiviral agents, but they are cytokines, diba? But as cytokines, they have an effect on the immune system. Tapos itong ribavirin naman, kaya lang siya nasama kasi may effect siya, used siya sa hepatitis C, pero they are also useful for other viruses like RSV, anti-Lassa virus. So sa influenza agents, tatanda lang natin itong dalawang group of drugs, yung amantadine at saka rimantadine plus your, and then the other group would be the neuraminidase inhibitors. So, anong key differences nila? Ang amantadine at rimantadine is useful only for influenza A, while the neuraminidase inhibitors are useful for both influenza A and B. Of course, they have different mechanisms of action as stated here. So, amantadine prevents viral fission and uncoupling, and these are the common adverse effects. Ito rare lang naman yung slurred speech. You will encounter, again, amantadine and rimantadine when you go to your anti-Parkinson's drugs. So, kasi may effect din siya on dopamine release in the dopaminergic neurons. Ito namang mga neuraminidase inhibitors, they are useful against both influenza A and B. Oseltamivir is administered orally, while zanamivir is administered intranasally. So, ang mga adverse effect niya would be GI symptoms for oseltamivir and zanamivir, usually because of the inhalational route, so it can cause throat discomfort, cough, and bronchospasm in asthmatic patients. Next, hepatitis. So sa hepatitis, ang important na i-treat specifically yung mga blood-borne hepatitis B and hepatitis C. So, but for these two, magkaiba yung ating goals. So for hepatitis B, since there's chronic infection, the goal is suppressive. Hindi natin ma-eradicate yung virus. Pero pag hepatitis C, the goal is curative. So pwede ma-eradicate ang virus. So hepatitis C infections are usually interferon-based. So you give interferon plus another drug. And then, so we know interferons are cytokines, and these drugs can activate the immune system by enhancing formation of antiviral proteins, selective antiviral action, by degrading viral mRNA, and promotes natural killer cell formation. So sa dynamics, alam natin that cytokines bind to JAK-STAT receptors. So there are multiple forms and preparations of interferons. May conventional at saka may pegylated. So ano ang main differences nila? Pag conventional, mas frequent ang dosing. They are administered either IM or subcutaneously. Tapos pwede daily 2-3 times a week. Pero yung pegylated form, siya yung may polyethylene glycol, once a week administration. So, it's useful. So, interferon kasama siya for HIV and hepatitis. So, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and also for other conditions like Kaposi sarcoma. Kaposi sarcoma is actually the malignancy seen as one of the AIDS-defining illnesses. Papillomatosis and genital herpes. Toxicity, most common pagka-cytokine drugs is flu-like symptoms. So, fever, myalgia, body aches and pains. Rarely, they can cause cardiomyopathy. And then the other drugs, yung mga adefovir for, it's an NRT, it's a NRTI. This is useful for lamivudine-resistant hepatitis B virus. Hindi ko naman siya hinahighlight. Bakit ko siya hindi hinahighlight? Kasi if you're going to look at the guidelines, itong ribavirin kasi, hindi naman to specific sa hepatitis kasi mayroon pa siyang effect on other viruses. Ang wala lang siyang dito yung mga herpes virus. Sige, dito na lang tayo. So ito yung important adverse effects ng ribavirin, myelosuppression, and hemolytic anemia. But if you look at the current guidelines ng WHO, so pinapakita niya dito yung initial na antiviral therapy for chronic hepatitis B infection. So the recommended first-line antiviral agents, all given as monotherapy for chronic hepatitis B infection, would be the tenofovir. Actually, dalawang versions na forms ng tenofovir. Tenofovir disoproxil and tenofovir alafenamide. So, between these two, mas safe yung tenofovir alafenamide. Tapos, the other one is entecavir. So, pwede silang ibigay as monotherapy for chronic hepatitis B infection. What about lamivudine? Lamivudine is no longer recommended as first line because of the high resistance risk, although it is used in low resource settings, HIV infection, co-infection, and short-term prophylaxis. So, in short, the first line drugs for chronic hep infection would be hepatitis, would be the tenofovir alafenamide, tenofovir disoproxil, and entecavir as monotherapy. And then the rest, lamivudine is largely obsolete. Next, yung sa hepatitis C naman, siguro meron na tayong mga bagong drugs din available. Kaya lang, hindi pa na nakaka-reach sa Philippines. Pero eventually naman din, this will reach the Philippines. So, yung mga, ito tinatawag sa kanila as DAA or direct acting antiviral agent. So, bakit siya direct acting? Kasi hindi sila anticoagulants. They act directly on the structure of the hepatitis virus. So, medyo mahirap siyang tandaan. There are 3 groups dito. So, bakit nag-develop ng direct-acting antiviral agents for hepatitis C? Because the interferon-based treatments had serious adverse effects, longer duration, and more frequent dosing. So, the aim was to develop new drugs na mas effective pero less yung kanilang toxicity. So, which are your direct-acting agents, pero ang problem din is the cost. So, medyo mahal ito mga direct-acting antiviral drugs. So, para mas madali natin silang matandaan, so ito yung tatlong groups of your direct-acting antivirals, hepatitis C. So, pagka nakita nyo Previr, these are protease inhibitors. So, or in other references, NS3-4A yung target niya. So, Previr protease, viral protease, NS3-4A. Hindi ko na iaan yung specific na function nitong mga structures na to. Basta take note na lang ano yung kanilang target. So, pero this slide actually shows you that the mechanism, the function of that particular structure and enzyme. So, pagka Previr, protease inhibitors, pag Asvir, so NS5A, pag Buvir, NS5A. Okay? So, kaya hindi na kailangan memorize isa-isa yung suffix na natin para malaman niyo yung target. Okay? Then lastly, let's go to COVID. So, sa COVID naman, there were some drugs that were already nung dumating yung COVID, syempre wala naman tayong gawin pa sa kanya, di ba? So kailangan mag-develop ka ng drugs or gamitin muna yung ibang mga drugs na available to see which ones work. So, in the early stages, remdesivir was approved for emergency use in severe COVID cases. It was originally developed for the treatment of Ebola. And dexamethasone, you know, is anong drug to? Dexamethasone. Actually, Dr.
Long-acting.
Dr. Manzuela.
Long-acting.
High potency corticosteroid. So, it was useful in treating or addressing the cytokine storm. May mga drugs din na ginamit na wala siyang benefit. So, pinag-aralan, azithromycin, hydroxychloroquine, the famous ivermectin. So, hindi yan naging beneficial for patients. So, in terms of drugs that were developed, other than vaccines, meron dalawang drug na na-develop. We have molnupiravir and Paxlovid. So, yung molnupiravir, it's a nucleoside analog interfering with viral RNA replication ng SARS-CoV-2. So, and eventually induces mutagenesis leading to errors in viral replication. Important na note dito is that molnupiravir, kailangan siyang ibigay in early stage COVID to reduce viral replication. So, ito mas nag-benefit and that reduces progression of the disease. So, pag late na hindi na beneficial or severe na yung stage ng COVID. Then the other drug was Paxlovid. So ano man yung Paxlovid is a combination of nirmatrelvir and ritonavir. So yung nirmatrelvir is a protease inhibitor that inhibits the virus from processing polyprotein proteins for its viral replication. Yung ritonavir, na-encounter natin siya kanina sa HIV drugs, di ba? So yung protease inhibitor na yan, actually wala siyang anti-COVID effect. May anti-COVID effect lang itong first drug. So ito dalawa ko yung mechanism action. Yung ritonavir, ang purpose lang niya is para pataasin yung concentration nito. Para hindi siya hindi mabilis bumaba yung plasma levels. Okay? So it's a Paxlovid is a combination of nirmatrelvir plus ritonavir. And there are other drugs like tocilizumab, baricitinib, and anakinra. These are drugs that you will encounter when we go to drugs for rheumatoid arthritis. So since part of the condition, part of the parang symptomatology ng COVID-19 is the cytokine storm and the immune response. So these drugs are useful, particularly tocilizumab, in addressing the cytokine storm. And many patients actually survive because ang nakakapatay talaga sa COVID was the cytokine storm and also the nagkakaroon ng pulmonary embolism, nagkakaroon ng clot conditions sa lungs. So, but these drugs are originally indicated and approved for rheumatoid arthritis. Okay? So I think that's all. The rest are just summary slides, figures, and text so for you to review for your exams. Do you have any questions? So you will have a post-lecture quiz.